In the practice of centering prayer, there are two things to remember, I think. The first is that it's meant to be a very kind and gentle practice. We're meant to be gentle with ourselves in this practice. The second thing to remember is that it's a heart-centered practice. The purpose of the practice is to allow us to rest our attention in the heart for the purpose of softening, yielding, with our consent, opening up to the work of the Holy Spirit, and in this way cooperating with the Spirit in its work of healing and making whole. So we're very gently bringing our attention to rest in our heart, and there softening and giving our consent to the presence and activity of the Holy Spirit. But in order to do that, we have to deal with the fact that our attention is constantly being caught up by the thoughts in our thinking mind. In this practice, we're not going to attempt to silence the thinking mind or to focus the thinking mind. We're going to allow the thinking mind to do what it does, to have its thoughts, but we're simply not going to give our attention to those thoughts. We're going to let our attention always drop back into our hearts, there very gently to rest and to soften and to open in consent to the presence and activity of the Spirit. And we're going to use a little tool to help us dislodge or free our attention from our habitual unconscious thoughts and return our attention to the heart. And for this purpose, we will use a word, a sacred word, a word preferably of a single syllable, so as not to draw attention to itself. The word is simply a signal, a tap, a reminder that as often as I find myself caught in any thought whatsoever, the moment I notice that I'm in a thought, I bring my sacred word to bear, and I simply repeat it gently within myself in order to let go of the thought, and then, as they say, as gently as a feather resting on the back of my wrist, I allow my attention to settle back into the heart. And so as often as I wake up and realize, oh my goodness, I'm thinking about something, whether it's something very mundane or something very emotional or something very inspiring, whatever it is, I'm going to let it go, including any thoughts about how I'm doing the practice or whether it's working, anything of that nature. Just gently let it go and return to our intention, which is to rest in our hearts, there to open in willing consent and to cooperate with the work of the Spirit within us. So as often as I find myself in any thought whatsoever, I simply bring my sacred word to bear and return to resting my attention in the heart, there to cooperate with the healing work of the Holy Spirit.